They're actually not, because they're all basically Sauvage.
They all
now.
smell like Sauvage these days, yeah. So if you're bored of those Sauvage...
If you're bored of Sauvage, which if you're not, please stop listening.
To be fair, I'm bored of it, but I don't mind smelling it.
Oh, it smells so good on a man. I'd follow a man down the street in Sauvage. I'd get myself into trouble easily. And yet, it's just bored of it. I'm bored of ending up in trouble.
It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat with Thomas and Nick. We talk perfume and fragrance with humor and wit. From Chanel number 5 to Angel and more. We're covering the famous scents that you're looking for. It's time for some fragrances. It's time to start the show. It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Fume Chat. I am Thomas Dunkley.
And I am Nick Gilbert.
Yes, you are, sir.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to Fume Chat, the podcast where we chat about fumes. Today we will be talking about toxic fumes. No, we won't. I don't know where I was going with that.
I have no idea. I was like watching with the terror in my eyes.
I could see you like, where's he going? He's gone rogue. This isn't on the script. Somebody stop him.
If you haven't noticed before, this is not scripted.
God, can you imagine if we were like presented this as a scripted show? Yeah, we wrote this. Like, what is wrong with your minds?
It's just ping-ponging all over the place.
So you deliberately made it really difficult to follow. I see.
Choices, yeah.
Choices, yeah, okay. Yeah, I see. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Hello, the world is still here.
For now.
Yes.
It's another week. Yeah. We're still around, I hope.
I still feel like if the world ended, we'd get an email saying, hey, is there going to be a Fume Chat this Friday?
Quite possibly. And we'd be like, oh, sorry, guys, we're all dead.
We're all dead. We cannot podcast from beyond the grave. I think Elon Musk is working on that, but I don't know if he's got the technology just yet.
No, and I don't want one of his brain chips in.
Oh, no.
No, thank you.
No.
I'm going to end up on a rant now about Elon Musk and how he's stealing our skies with...
Do you know, I was reading an article about this because the astrologers are having issues with the satellites in the skies, aren't they?
There's been so bloody many up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked really cool when it was passing over. I was watching it a lot in lockdown because I was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, he's stealing our skies. And I think who gave him the right?
Does he own the sky?
Apparently so, because he's got enough money. Or not real money.
Yeah, he's basically Lex Luthor, right?
I think so, yeah.
But just with hair.
Plugs.
Oh! You heard Nick's phone ping a minute ago. That was actually Elon Musk.
That was my FBI agent ringing up to say, careful.
So, yeah, G4S or Serco. Like, we need to have a word with you, sir. Yeah. Okay, so less about that kind of musk and moving on to perfumery musks.
Oh, great segue.
We're not actually going to be talking about musks. That was a really bad link, but I felt like I had to do it because it was right there in front of me.
Yeah, it was set up.
Yeah, you set that up, you opened the door, I walked right through it, and there was nothing in that room. There we go.
It was a try.
So this episode is called Novel Accords. Yes, and that's because today we will be talking about novel accords. Yes.
What is the novel accord?
Well, I think what we are looking at is fragrances that have an element that we think is curious, innovative, perhaps, pleasant in a way.
Yeah.
Just something that kind of tickles our funny bones a little bit. Say this is something different. But before we get to novel accords, maybe it's important to talk about what an accord is.
Yes.
Because
it's one of those words that you see banded around in perfume writing and things. And like, what's the other word? Oh, a pug has just joined me.
Yes, there is a rogue pug walking around. He's got a bone.
So you may hear snuffling noises into the mic because he's literally here.
He's literally here. Yes.
Great, thanks Bugsy.
Thank you.
So an accord is a blend of several ingredients that creates an effect that is more than the sum of its parts. So you can no longer smell the individual materials. You can only smell the new effect that they create.
Yes. So when a perfumer is creating an accord, they are looking to kind of overlap materials in a certain way that will either create something entirely new or will emphasize a certain element. So you can have... The pug just dropped his bone. Thank you, Pugsley. You can either have you could say have three things in an accord, right? And two of those things could be to amplify the third thing.
Yeah.
Or a facet of.
Or a facet of it, yeah. So the part you want to pull out.
Yes, exactly.
So you could... in, say, a rose accord, we could pick a couple of ingredients, and then you could decide you want it to be more geranium-y, so you up the geraniol.
Yeah.
Boom. That's it. That's
Yeah.
as simple as it could be. Otherwise, a lot of perfumers, when they're creating accords especially, will take two ingredients and then try and find like the perfect balance of those things, so that when does it flip from being, say, lavender and ethyl maltol to a new thing that is neither lavender nor ethyl maltol, but something else entirely.
Yeah.
So that's like a very traditional perfumery method, which Jean-Carl sort of like created. And a lot of perfumers still do that in their training to try and find like the perfect balance and how do these materials play together? What can I do with them? Etc.
Yeah, because perfumery training, in essence, and I was going to say simply is, but it's like as far away from being simple as possible, is learning materials so deeply that you know what that material is and at what percentage it's in the alcohol or whatever it's in, whatever percentage it's used at, and then also how it plays with others, so how it interplays with others, and it's kind of like really just a massive jigsaw puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of finding which jigsaw puzzle pieces are going to fit together.
Yeah.
That's kind of the art of perfumery. It's like, okay, how am I going to overlap these things so that they start to become seamless?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you've just got like a bunch of smells together.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I suppose there have been like there have been lots of very famous accords throughout perfumery. So I'm thinking of the one that springs to mind is the Groisman Accord, which was created by Sophia Groisman. That's why it's got the name Groisman Accord, which is used in all of her 80s fragrances. Really, well, I mean, most of her fragrances are from the 80s, really, because that's when she was most prolific. But she created that's ISOE Super and what's the other stuff in there?
Galaxolide.
That sounds like a superhero. Galaxolide, which is a musk, right?
Is a musk.
It's a musk.
Yes, which I cannot smell on its own, but I know the effect that it brings. So it's kind of like a soft, powdery, laundry / fruity thing.
Yeah.
It's really key to like Murray Musk.
Yes.
Actually, it's like that. The perfumer Jean Laporte sort of said, there's like a fruity aspect. I want to play with that. So when he created Murray Musk, that's what he did.
Okay. Brilliant. So that's the Groisman Accord. Is it? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking here, it's taking a lot. Are they not in equal parts in that accord?
I mean,
I thought they were.
The accord is more than just
Yes.
two things. I cannot now remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
So, like, great example. Thank you for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have prepped you for this. I was gonna talk about that.
But yeah, it was kind of like equal parts, and it's a very monolithic accord.
Absolutely.
That really kind of like does a lot of support.
Yeah.
And radiance and bloom and all of that kind of stuff. And it's kind of, you smell the fragrances that's in, and you would not recognize that those ingredients are in there, but you would recognize the effect.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm also thinking of another accord just off the top of my head. That is one that we're not going to be featuring here, but it just strikes me as how fascinating these things can be when put together is Baccarat Rouge, which is a very kind of simple formula in essence. It's a short formula, but it's ethyl maltol, which is kind of the strawberry, like kind of toasted strawberries, caramel candy floss type material. And then ambroxan, which is like massively like marine and fresh and like smooth,
and like salty skin. To me as well. With Hedione and Evernale and
and it just makes this like completely alien thing that doesn't really smell like any of those.
No,
but smells like Baccarat Rouge, which now means everything smells like Baccarat Rouge, unfortunately. And the reason we're not doing it on this is because if we spray it in an enclosed environment, we're going to have to burn the place down.
Yeah. So, but also, I think we've spoken about it enough.
We have,
Actually, it's kind of it would be a bit played out.
It would be, yeah.
So I hope
we
that
want to keep you on your toes, keep you surprised here at Fume Chat. We don't want you to think we're covering the same ground all the time. So yes, that's why we're not talking about Baccarat Rouge. Nothing to do with the fact that we have sprayed it so much in our lifetime that we just can't stand it anymore.
I'm just a bit sick of it.
Yeah, same.
Sorry.
I respect it.
Yeah, I'm just
the way that I respect someone I don't like very much. I actually do really like it, but I would never wear it now. Okay, moving on. So we've each picked a selection of fragrances that have a novel accord. So these, I would say, are either intended effects that the perfumers have created. So sometimes they'll actually be listed in the notes as this is a, I don't know, cheese accord. No one would ever do that, but that's what that is. But also it could be just something that we're picking out as an accord, like an intended, not an unintended effect that we think is quite fascinating.
Yeah.
And the idea of it being novel is that it's just doing something really different.
Different and new.
Different and new at the time that it was launched. So bear in mind, these are not all...
Some of it may be copied by now.
Yes.
It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat. Here we go.
So, the first one we're going to go look at is one that you have picked.
Yes.
Well done. Congratulations, you remembered that.
Took me by surprise there. Yeah.
I mean, it's the first one in the lineup. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise. So this is from Comme des Garçons. And take it away, Nick. The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. So this is the Comme des Garçons / or X or whatever Stephen Jones fragrance, the original one that's in the black bottle.
Yes.
And this is their collaboration. And he wanted to have this kind of like violet that's been struck by a meteorite thing.
That's such a fucking cool idea.
It's a really cool idea. And when you smell it, it's like taking violets, sort of like very classic, sort of prim, that kind of like Parma violet, I guess, if you're in the UK, you'll really be familiar with, and kind of like soapy aldehydic thing that's going on. And then there's this really sort of like hot metallic aspect that's really weird about it. And I just think this is cool.
Yeah, it is cool because it's kind of like a clash of hot and cold, because violets, to my nose anyway, have always been quite cool.
Yeah,
like,
I wonder if that's like a property that ionones have as well. Because I always find them quite cool.
Yeah, in the same way that in iris it's quite papery and cool, isn't it? And obviously there's that overlap. So and you do get like a rocky, hot, like carnation almost vibe in there.
Yeah, there's like a sort of like spicy, I guess it's like clove carnation. Yeah.
Huh.
It's weird, right?
It's like completely subverting expectations of what is in that black bottle.
Yeah.
Because it's...
I mean, it comes with this incredible piece of netting that a lot of people used for really cool sort of like photos and stuff.
Like a fascinator.
Like a fascinator.
Yeah.
And it kind of has that like Victorian netting vibe about it because of the kind of slightly prim character that it has. But it's then really modern and strange.
Yeah, it's completely like alien.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things about like when something is really novel, you're kind of like, how do I even...
Yeah, it's like trying to place it is really difficult because, I mean, so many times Perfumery is trying to recreate things in nature that we know, like roses and tuberoses and, I don't know, daisies and things.
Yeah. I mean, this is trying to do a part of that.
It's trying to do a part of that, but it's like apocalyptic.
Yeah. Or what if they were in space?
What if,
Violets in space.
Give me violets, but on the International Space Station.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yeah, I love this because it is just so bonkers.
I mean, that's kind of why I picked it, because I just thought it would be cool to do something. It would be cool to show this because it's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird accord. And I think if you don't like violet, you need to try this because you might like this, because it's the opposite of everything you would expect from a violet.
I would agree with that statement.
Well, that is good. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. I will get that in writing. So my one that I've picked, my first one is actually on that theme of burning. And this is from DS&DURGA, which is kind of interesting brand for me because I think they're kind of where Le Labo were like 5 or 6 years ago before they got bought by Lauder.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the hip, cool brand. Like
everyone wants them. Everyone wants them. Do you know what? I really like some of the visuals that they did.
Their visuals are great.
I've kind of like fallen in love with some of those.
I think it's a cool brand. I feel like I'm almost not cool enough for the brand. It's that kind of brand.
Yeah, you're not. But neither am I.
Yeah, well, exactly. I was just about to follow up with that. And that's why I could be snarky about it, be like, it's just like a hipster wanker brand. But actually, no, I think it's a cool brand and I can see why people like it. This one's called Burning Barbershop, and the idea is it's inspired by a barbershop that burnt down. So it's this fougere kind of after someone set fire to it. So there's this really... The bit that really interests me, the accord I really like, is the lavender accord.
Yes.
Which plays up the malted sweet elements of the lavender, but also like pushes them into a direction where they become smoky. Like, so it's like this smouldering lavender.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It is, yes, I know.
I can't really sort of like add anything, unfortunately. So yeah, you do get this very classic masculine structure, but then that malted, sweet, smoky lavender effect is really... You want to keep smelling it.
Yeah, because I think what they've done, and obviously I don't know the formula, I'm just guessing, but it feels to me like the lavender is kind of paired with this GAIAC note, which gives it that kind of hammy, smoky intensity. And, you know, that the lavender is kind of, the sugar of that is cutting through what would be the meatiness of the guy wood, and also the like kind of that's being elevated. The lavender's
It's kind of being pushed up.
yeah
Yeah.
by that.
It's like, yeah, like billowing clouds of lavender.
Yeah. Because it's gone like one step beyond caramelized lavender. It's
Yeah.
like we caramelized it a little bit too long and now it's burnt.
It's toasted.
Which
yeah.
is what happens every time my husband tries to make caramel. How many saucepans do we have to ruin, Nigel? How many saucepans?
Before you admit you just can't do it. Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't try to make caramel because I know I would just set it on fire.
Yeah.
Or like it would just smoke. But yeah, there's this really just past caramelized.
Yeah.
Not too far past.
No. It's not like
Just past.
yeah. It's not. We're not smelling carbon.
No.
It's
no. Yeah. We're not smelling what would happen if I made caramel.
Yeah. Yes.
Just like charred sugar.
Yeah. Yes. It's not spontaneous combustion. It's good.
So I just keep sniffing it. And there's also like a grassiness.
Yeah,
I
there
feel.
is. Yeah, I think so because they've got like kind of like that freshness of barbershop products.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's like a hair pomade in here somewhere.
Yeah. Or like a shaving soap.
Yes,
Of some
yeah.
sort. Soap.
So,
Sorry.
and that's why I think this is such a fascinating fragrance because it's called Burning Barbershop, and that's actually
what it is,
It
yeah.
literally is. They hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
So also really cool fougere if you're kind of bored of wearing, you know, just a standard straight up, everyday fougere. Your common garden variety fougere. They're 10 a penny.
Variety.
They're 10 a penny these days. They're actually not because they're all basically Sauvage
They all
now.
smell like Sauvage these days. Yeah. So if you're bored of those Sauvage,
If you're bored of
vibes,
Sauvage, which if you're not, please stop listening.
to be fair, I'm bored of it, but I don't mind smelling it.
Oh,
in
it
public.
smells so good on a man. I'd follow a man down the street in Sauvage. I'd get myself into trouble easily. And yeah.
yet,
It's just bored of it. I'm bored of ending up in trouble. Yes, this is a cool alternative for
Yeah.
fougere. This actually really, for me, shows that they are a rebellious, subversive, cool brand that is going to actually subvert
because
the
they're
narrative.
taking like a classic accord and then twisting it, that's novel.
That is novel.
That is the definition. If this were a battle, I'd be going. We're not making it a battle.
We're not making it battle because we would need to get a judge.
Yeah, not happening.
And we decided that we are above judging. Who can judge us when we have no peers? By a jury of our peers? Fine, bring them to me, for they do not exist.
Wow.
Wow.
And on that note, let's move on to
The next one,
fragrance,
which is a joint choice.
It is a joint choice.
Yes.
Yes. And it's by one of the best perfumers alive, Jean
Yes.
Baudelaire. And it is Bois Farine by L'Artisan Parfumeur.
Now, this fragrance, Nicholas, this fragrance took me a long time to get. I think I recoiled the first time I smelled it. I was like, what?
What is happening?
I don't like this. And now, in
Can't get
autumn,
enough.
winter,
Yeah.
Magnifique.
It's really addictive.
It's
Actually.
so good.
Really, really addictive. So, Bois Farine means flower wood. Flour like baking flour,
Yeah.
not flour like a flower,
No,
which
like-
is how I pronounce it. So sorry.
No, but they're both pronounced the same, right?
Flour and flour.
Yeah, flour. It's that thing you couldn't get in the supermarket about 3 months ago. That type of
That's
flour.
that kind of flour. So to me, it's exactly as described in that respect, and that's what makes it kind of. Well, it's what makes it novel, right?
Yeah.
Is who had thought of making flour before this. And there is a sort of like dusty texture that you get with flour. There is a sort of slightly yeasty element. So
Yeah.
you kind of like conjure up the idea of bread will be baked.
Yes.
And then there's like a,
There will be baking.
there will be bread.
Starring Daniel Day-Lewis.
The bread will come. And then there's a kind of like slightly cooked aspect. But
Yeah.
then you get this kind of like papery, iris, doughy thing going on. It's really, there's so much happening.
Yeah.
But I think what's so clever is the way that he's done this.
Yeah.
Like made it smell like flour.
Yeah, I think you could put this under anyone's nose and they would go, huh, that's flour.
Yeah. I mean, like I've not actually tried that.
We should do that. We should
give
do
it a
that
go.
anybody we meet.
Just random
What's
person.
this?
from a socially distanced.
Yeah, just on the end of a stick. Yeah, very long stick. Yeah, I will also add something to this that I get from it, which is a very intense nutty character.
Yes,
which makes me think of things like baklava because there is a sweetness to it.
Yeah,
it's almost like a little bit glazed.
Yeah, like slightly syrupy. Yeah. And I definitely agree that there's a nuttiness to it, which is kind of like vetiver nutty, but also like slightly hazelnut, but slightly peanut.
Yeah, it's
amorphous.
It's absolutely amorphous. It's in the sphere of nuttiness, which is apparently an awful place to be if you've got a nut allergy. Oh,
the sphere of nuttiness.
We must spend the rest of eternity in the sphere of nuttiness. But yeah, it's like you're right. It's like a little bit hazelnut, a little bit peanutty because it's a little bit salty, but it's so strange. And it's worth noting that this absolutely is an accord because you cannot have a flower absolute in a fragrance. That's not a thing that exists. That would just be a roux. It would just be
just get gloop.
It'd just be gloop. That's the thing you used to like make pictures with when you're a kid. Like when you were trying to make glue, didn't you? You used to put flour and water together and
you just get like paste.
Yeah, like a paste.
Sorry, I just had like a brain
Come on,
fart. People like
come on.
One of the things that used to make me laugh was people asking if this had gluten in.
Oh my god.
And yeah, no, it doesn't. Is the answer to that.
I actually don't have any comment on that. I can't. Does it have flour in it? Does it have gluten in it? No.
Sigh.
No.
No.
No, because if we put gluten in, we couldn't put the cyanide in, I'm afraid.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so this to me is the very essence of perfumery because it was about taking something from nature that no one had really encountered before, which is a specific tree on the island of Reunion, and turning it into something wearable. It's like capturing it, making it, taking something real and then making it abstract again, I think.
Yeah.
But also relatable. It's just a weird experience.
It's a very strange because it's like having never smelled that tree. I'm probably unlikely to ever smell that tree. What is it? The Ruizia cordata.
Yes, that's it. Well done. Well done.
Well remembered from our momentary Google.
Yes. What was that tree called again? I'll Google it. Yes.
I'm unlikely to ever encounter it, but I'm fully willing to believe that it smells this way.
Yeah, but it's also an element of fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
of course.
Knowing that you won't really go there, let's bring it to you in this fragrance that is just bizarre but also beautiful and wearable.
It is really wearable. That's, I think, the thing that surprises a lot of people. I used to wear this around the office a lot, actually, when I was at Penn and Marsan, and people were always like, what are you wearing? And then you'd say Bois Farine or Zonka when I was wearing that as well, and they'd be like, really? It sounds so nice. And you're like, yeah, because it's on someone.
Yeah. It's one of those fragrances you have to wear.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
I think so too. And then the next fragrance is also Jean-Claude Ellena.
Oh, right, Jesus.
Because he's obviously a very clever man.
Well, I always thought about Jean-Claude Ellena that he was a perfumer with a very distinct style. Yeah. But actually, he had a very distinct style at Hermès. But like before and after Hermès, everything is very different.
Yeah.
He is actually, I think he's a lot more versatile than people allow him credit for, I think.
I mean, I think people just like this fantasy of, he's a watercolour perfumer and that's what he does.
Yeah, well, he was a watercolour perfumer at Hermès most of the time.
Like, that was house style.
Yeah, I think so, which is weird because that's not their house style now with Christine Nargeois.
Well, no, but of course, things change.
Yes.
Times change.
Times change. I know things change. I'm aware of the concept of change.
And the passage of time.
Nicholas, look at my face. I'm aware of the passage of time.
I'm
trying to combat it. All the creams, all the potions.
The retinols and the acid peels.
Sorry, completely off track. So this is from Hermès and it's Jean-Claude Ellena and it's Jour d'Hermès.
Yes.
I really don't like French. Give me German. German's easy. It sounds the way it looks. And it's an aggressive language. I love German.
What's the word for butter? It's something like Schmetterling or something, isn't it? And it just feels like that feels...
I know town hall is Rathaus.
Rathaus,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love German.
Anyway, I don't do that language.
So this is Jour is dawn.
Day.
But it's inspired by dawn.
Yes.
Okay. I knew dawn was in there somewhere. Dawn, are you there, Dawn?
She's not.
She's not here. Dawn's not there anymore.
Dawn's not here. Yes. So it is inspired by dawn. Or that's so say in some of the marketing copy.
Yeah, I mean,
threads.
they
But-
probably just said, give us a golden floral and see what.
Yeah, give us a golden floral
Yeah.
that is kind of luminous, vibrant, transparent, incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
and radiant, but soft at the same time. It is not like intrusive. When I say incredibly powerful, I mean in terms of diffusion.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like hit you in the face
No.
like some oody sort of things can do.
No.
It's like there's none of the density, and it's also completely abstract in its floralcy.
Yeah, you could not pick a single flower.
No, or you could, and then you'd be like, oh no, but also, or oh no, but this
Yeah.
is because for me there's like a sweet pea vibe going
Yeah.
on, because of the kind of like slightly ginger fresh aspect that there is,
Mm.
and then the kind of like zesty citrus effects. But then as soon as I sort of like try and focus in on it, it's like a magic eye that I
Yeah.
can't quite do. Like, as soon as you try and focus on it, it just shifts again. And you're like, oh no, it's not that actually. It's jasmine, and then it's like but it's a rosy thing, and you're just like constantly trying to place it.
Mm.
And I think actually the joy of it is to not place it.
Yeah,
Or
I think
not
so.
not try and parse this and just go, do you know what? This smells incredible.
Yeah, just make up your own image, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like flowers spray painted in gold.
That's
what I get.
nice.
Yeah. There's also such a lightness to it, almost
Yeah.
like the flowers are actually little like balloon animals that are like floating off into the sky. Like someone's made little flowers out of balloons and they're just kind of
Just
popping.
gonna go boo 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 boo.
Yeah.
That's cute.
That's cute.
That's
I get a
cute.
lot of rhubarb. I
Yeah,
get a
there's a
really
kind of, like,
nice rhubarb
rhubarby
effect.
effect.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's such a beautiful floral accord because it's just so symphonic and like you say, it's really abstract. It's not.
Yeah. I think the rhubarb thing might be there to kind of conjure part of gardenia, because sometimes you would use kind of rhubarby effect in
Yeah.
gardenias.
Yeah, and they did do that gardenia flanker, didn't they? To this, I think
Oh, they did.
They
Yes,
did,
they
yeah.
did. Yeah.
they did.
Oh,
Oi.
they did. I tell you what, like the Eau de Parfum, the other like versions, all of it, love it. Just spray it everywhere. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's
Love
great.
it. It smells so good. So yeah, I think it's great because it's so unidentifiable
Yeah,
and yet familiar.
yeah,
And that's the kind of smartness of this. And I think it's really probably one of the most kind of impressive mass market things that came out in the past, I don't even know how many years, 10 years,
yeah.
I'd say.
It must be
It
10
must
years.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, because, well,
I was
living in
blogging
London.
when it came
yeah,
out.
Yeah, yeah, I was living in London, so it
so
must
it's
be
10
10 years.
years.
Yeah.
I like because obviously lots of fragrances try and create a flower. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Kenzo flower is meant to be the idea of a poppy, and then you get abstract bouquets like I know Estee Lauder Beautiful and things like that are, and Jour I think is probably an abstract bouquet as well. I would say.
Yeah, probably.
But they all have like an element where you're like, oh, okay, to me it is predominantly like Beautiful is to me predominantly tuberose, and
Yeah.
then I think Jour is predominantly jasmine
To me, yeah, I would agree.
but this is so not anywhere like where you go, oh yeah, no, but it really is kind of a gardenia. It's not. It's like this is a whole new. It's like 10 abstract flower perfumes.
Yeah. Just
put
like,
together.
Put together, just like taking weird puzzle pieces stuck
Yeah.
together and just gone, well, that worked.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, it's a Frankenstein's monster of a floral. What have you done, Jean Claude?
Frankenstein's floral.
Jean Claude, you've created a monster, but it's a beautiful monster.
Yeah, it really is.
Ah, lovely.
Shall we move to the next one?
My turn.
Yeah. My
Now
turn.
I have to admit, I don't know what in good state this bottle is
Yeah,
in.
I mean, like the juice has gone a dark color.
Yes.
Which I would say is probably related to the indole content of that
Yes.
fragrance.
And also, I mean, there's a lot of its use. There's a lot of air in this bottle.
Yeah.
So, please forgive me, Nick, that it may not be too fresh.
I was looking at the bottle thinking, that's not a card. Sorry.
Yes, this is one of the first niche fragrances I bought way back when. This is Jasmin and Cigarette by Etat Libre. The idea behind the fragrance is it's inspired by the great cinema femme fatales sat at the bar smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
But what I love about this is that it has a cigarette accord in there, but it's not a lit cigarette. It's not someone smoking a cigarette. It is so vividly a fresh packet of Marlboro Lights to me. It's like peeling off the plastic, pulling off the little strip, pulling off the plastic, then the foil, and then that smell of cigarettes.
I hope we've not got any like recovering smokers listening to this.
They've all just
they're all just like they're gonna just go shots and get myself.
I've literally caused every single one of them to relapse. It's the beautiful scent of cigarettes.
I mean, I love the
in the
smell of
hand.
cigarettes
Yeah.
before they're lit, and even like freshly lit.
Yeah.
There's a great moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the kind of like stale after smoke I'm not crazy
Yeah,
about.
no, that's horrendous. But yeah, this is so. It's the plastic, it's the foil, it's the. Because obviously they are normally. I can't remember. I'm thinking in my head. It's been a long time since I've opened a pack of cigarettes. Normally it's filter tip at the top, right? Not the actual tip.
Yeah, that must be right.
And so it's the filters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
must
right.
be right.
We said it, so it's right.
No, I mean, it must be because you don't really want to pick out the...
No, because you'd squish the end.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that. So it is the filter end that's in the upper. It's been a long time. It's the orange bit.
Orange bit.
Yeah, we're really cool. Yeah, so I know a lot about cigarettes. It's been smoking for 40 years now.
20 a day.
20 a
40 years.
day, yeah.
Yeah, but that is what shrieks out of the bottle and off the blotter and off your skin at the first spray. And then it's like a crazy thick jasmine.
Yeah, I mean, like
proper jasmine absolute style.
Yeah.
Dense.
Yeah.
Which is enjoyable.
Yeah, it's actually not in that bad nick, this fragrance now.
I mean, I would disagree. It's I would say it's gone.
It's gone,
my love.
It's gone. Well, it's
you
near the
can
end of the
still
bottle.
smell that effect that we were talking about. So yeah, like that dreg that you've been saving, which is quite literally.
It's not that I've been saving, it's just I haven't I've moved
used.
on from it. Maybe I have to get a new bottle. I don't think I'd ever wear it though, for me, personally.
No, I mean, like, it's the kind of thing you just want a tiny amount to smell from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So dregs of the bottle will be fine for me. Okay, so that's Jasmine and Cigarette. A freshly opened pack of Silk Cut.
Oh, which was Silk Cut was the one with the purple in the adverts.
Yeah, my grandmother used to smoke them.
Those adverts were like so elegant.
I used to think Silk Cut was so classy. As my grandmother sat there smoking 25 a day.
I mean, my nan smoked Super Kings.
Also classy.
Yeah. No. At the fruit machine. Lovely. Lovely nan.
I want that perfume. That's what I want.
What fruit machines?
Fruit machines and cigarettes.
Super Kings and fruit machines. It's a great perfume.
Sounds like a stereophonic song.
It does. I was thinking, it's like, this is a song. Surely this is a song. Okay.
So we're having deja vu here because we're back to Comme des Garçons and Stephen Jones. Yeah.
We are. So this is the sort of later, more recent fragrance that they did. I still think it's a couple of years old.
Yeah.
Which is Comme des Garçons X Stephen Jones with Wysteria Hysteria.
Can we just pause? This is the greatest name for a fragrance ever.
For a Wisteria fragrance?
No, just ever.
Okay.
Like Wysteria Hysteria is such a good name.
It's great.
It's a great name.
It's great. And I mean, I'm obsessed with the smell of Wisteria.
I
just love it. I get really, really hypnotized by them.
It's such a heady, heavy smell.
Yeah. With a kind of like rich spiciness and then a kind of soft, powdery tonka, hi Pugsley, effect as well. And I mean, my housemates, like in the spring and summer when they're blooming, I will stop and smell them and my housemates will be like, what's going on? Are you all right? Because I'm just stood at the back door because it kind of grows over the back door. And I'm like, I'm just smelling the wisteria. And they're just like, okay.
Yeah. Nick's having one of his episodes again. It's actually a beautiful flower as well, isn't it? The way it grows.
Yeah.
Just art buildings
these
enveloping them.
Arches of purple froth. Yes, Pugsley. He's right in front of the mic.
He wants to join in.
He wants to.
Thank you, Pugsley. Thank you for
Thank
your
you for your
contribution.
input. So yeah, what I think is cool about this is one, they've kind of done Wisteria justice. It's not photorealism because it's not got the spice, like the intensity of the spice, right? But it's like they've put them in an ice box.
Yeah.
Which is what I think is super cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a florist's refrigerator
exactly.
vibe.
And like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I love temperature sensations in fragrance or anything where there's kind of like texture, temperature, things that kind of feel plausible that you could almost reach out and touch or feel the sensation of. And I feel like you can almost think I'm about to reach for these cold flowers with this fragrance.
Yeah, it's so vivid.
But it's also like stemmy, cool, cold.
Yeah, crisp.
All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, sparkling. But yeah, you do get this. This is so vivid as an iced flower.
Yeah. And like, maybe not exactly Wysteria. Like I said, it's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
not
no.
photorealistic, but it's got the idea of
Yeah, absolutely.
really nicely done. And I think to me, it's not actually the Wysteria part that I'm finding super interesting. It's that flowers in a fridge feeling.
Yeah, and it's fascinating that the coolness itself doesn't, it's going to sound really odd, so bear with me, doesn't necessarily have a smell. It just feels cool.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of a L'Artisan Parfumeur fragrance, which was Glacia, in the Natura Fabularis. Something.
Oh.
Glacialis Terra?
Glacialis Terra? Something
Yeah,
like that? Yeah,
that was really cold, but that was like a menthol cold, so it had
Yes.
like a smell to the cold. That
Okay,
sounds like a
okay.
really weird way of
No,
putting
no.
it.
What you're describing is trigeminal stimulation.
Right, okay.
So you know when you have like hot and cold sensations, like you eat chili.
Yeah.
Hot. Yeah. You eat chewing gum. Cold.
Yes.
Right. Well, not eat. Chewing gum.
I just eat it.
Just.
I don't even
throw 'em
chew.
down.
I'm a rebel. I swallow. I call it swallowing gum. Nobody's going to stop me. I do what I want.
Horrible. Do you know when we were kids, we had this like, if you swallow chewing gum, it's going to wrap around your bones and kill you myth that went around school. And then a guy called Leon told everyone that it was true because his cousin had died that way.
Really?
And guess what?
He hadn't. She didn't die.
She didn't die.
No. We had similar, but it was always like, if you swallow that chewing gum, it will be in you for 50 years. And I'm like,
Well.
I don't intend on living that long, so I'm going to keep going. Thank you. Pass me that juicy fruit.
Just chuck it at him.
Chuck it at me. As I used to try and eat it the way they did in the advert, where they like bend it into their mouth. You know, the little tape.
How
do they do
understood that?
How do they do it?
I never understood
Some
because
wizardry.
it was not only wizardry, just weird.
It's like-
because like, why would it's just not necessary. Just like
Just put it in your mouth.
just chuck it in.
No, they have to bend it into their mouth.
I mean, I suppose it was like a look, and
Oh,
we
it was a
now
thing.
still remember it. So it obviously had its effect.
Yes.
Of kind of like, oh yes, well Wrigley's.
So trigeminal stimulation, Nick.
Yes, sorry, yeah, trigeminal stimulation. It's a nerve running up your nose to your brain, effectively, and it's, you know, when you eat ice cream and then you get like brain freeze.
Yes.
That's trigeminal stimulation. So your trigeminal nerve has been stimulated, but also made cold, physically cold. So it stings like crazy.
Okay.
So menthol, mint, all of those kind of camphor, they stimulate the cold sensation.
Interesting.
The more you know.
The more you know. My father has never had brain freeze, so he doesn't believe it's real. So I think he, in his head, thinks that the entire population of the world is making it up.
Like,
He's never had it, and he eats a lot of ice cream. He's not even like, oh, I don't eat ice
how
cream.
is he with spicy food?
He is fine.
Maybe he has some kind of nerve damage, Thomas.
Oh, he's certainly got nerve. Certainly got nerve.
Certainly got nerve. I mean, because it's if like fine with spices and also never experienced brain freeze. It sounds like he's there's nothing's happening there.
I don't know. I haven't had a good look up his nose, but
I don't want to sit here and armchair diagnose your dad with having.
no, his trigeminal nerve is entirely missing. It's gone. It's gone.
But you know that if there's no reaction to heat and cold, then
Yeah.
weird.
Are you listening, Dad?
No.
Daddy never listens to my podcast.
Oh wow. But yeah, it's potentially weird, but I can't understand. I can't imagine not having experienced brain freeze because I'm such a greedy
Yeah.
bastard.
I-
The moment ice cream comes near me,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I get entire face freeze.
You're just like, oh, it hurts so much, but it was so good.
So worth
every
it.
time.
Yeah.
Every time.
I should say, to my dad's credit, that is the least weird thing about my dad. Love you, Pop. Yeah, so
It's like a whistle stop tour around
yeah.
funny, weird accords.
I mean, this could have gone on for ages
Because we could have just picked loads and loads of stuff. It's a bit dangerous.
yeah, so I think actually what we're not saying this is like, oh, these are the most novel accords in perfumery ever.
No.
Because there are like 2,500 perfume launches a year. We'd be insane to say that.
Yeah, and of course, it's going to be something new that's really
Yeah.
clever every year.
I think we just
least
wanted to
one.
show some that we find particularly interesting
Mm-hmm.
and to kind of get people thinking about what their favorite novel accords could be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'd love
Tell
to hear
us.
that. Tell us.
Tell us.
We'd love to hear that, actually, because I think it would be interesting to see what fragrances people pick out as identifying as having something just strange about them.
Strange or really new to say.
Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily have to be weird.
No, I don't
No.
think it has to be weird.
No. Because Jour
Hermès
is not weird.
And I don't actually think that Wysteria Hysteria is weird.
I would say the only weird ones are probably the Bois Farine.
Yeah, because it's just so alien.
Because it's just nuts. And the Stephen Jones.
Yeah.
The original.
I mean, because the Bois Farine does challenge a little bit what your perception of perfumery could be.
Yeah, because I think that must have been a tough sell. Like any other brand, if you're like, right, guys, we're going to make a fragrance, right? It smells like this tree, but the tree smells like flour. So we're going to get people to smell like the Great British Bake Off. That's what we want.
An attempt was made, and obviously it was a successful one.
Yeah,
Successful.
I mean, it's
Could not make successful a word. Back in.
you had limited success saying the word successful there.
Yeah.
The fact that this is still in production is kind of amazing, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a testament to the kind of playful perfumery that is allowed to exist in the niche world.
Yes.
Lovely.
That's a lovely thing. Playful perfumery. Maybe that should be title of episode.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, why not? Sure.
It could be. I mean, I've done all those graphics with Novel Accord as the title, but I can easily change those.
Just redo them.
I could change it. Playful perfumery.
Isn't that nice?
I like that, Nick. You should go into the creatives. You're good at this.
Sometimes. Once a year, it pays off.
Okay, brilliant. So we will be back next year when Nick has another original thought. Please stay tuned for that. Do get in touch if you want to tell us what your favourite interesting, fascinating, curious, odd, or just beautiful accords in perfumery are.
Mm-hmm.
We are at Fume Chat everywhere that you can search for that.
Just Pugsley is a joint again.
Pugsley is joined again. Pugsley's he's amorphous. He moves around.
He's just a whirlwind.
He's a whirlwind. I think he's actually a Tasmanian devil. So find us on all the socials at Fume Chat. I am the Candy Perfume Boy. Nick is Nick
R. Gilbert.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah.
Until next time,
Bye.
goodbye. Fume Chat is an all-fiction production produced by Thomas Dunkley and Nick Gilbert. All fragrances discussed during this episode were provided by the brands for consideration, and we were not sponsored to feature them. If we were, we would tell you, because we are nice. You can subscribe to Fume Chat on iTunes and Spotify if you like us, and you can follow us everywhere at Fume Chat and on fumechat.com.
Time to start the show. It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat. Here we go.